Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. At least for next 20 minutes or so, you will be in a heavenly world. Some of you who are chemical engineers are students of chemical engineering or those who are related to them. And if you haven't yet been related, you can find a soulmate here in this institute. There are many awaiting students in the blissful world of chemical engineering. So I have given a very provocative title, and I will tell you why I have given it. And so, ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Today's Trinity. The Trinity is change, challenge, and opportunity. It's like Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. And never have before been so many challenging, technological problems which have occupied man's system of values. And the moment you think that you have found a solution, there is another challenge coming before you. This is what it's all about. So look at this. Since I said God, everybody will have his own religion. If he believes in that, if he doesn't believe, still he believes in some philosophy. So there is somebody, even called God, Almighty, Jesus, Ishwar, Allah, Buddha, whatever. Okay. Do we, invoke God to solve our problems? In majority of cases, that is the case. Oh God. Okay. So that is it. Oh God, a tough question. Now, what is God and what is his job? It could be religious, metaphysical, philosophical, and scientific views. And people can put forward their theories. Right from the day Shunya came out of nothing. Okay, so there are believers and non-believers. And so who is God? Omnipresent, omnipotent, versatile, all the time keeping eye on you. Okay, that is what God it means. And caring for sustainability, caring for our future. And also, some of you may think after our death also he has to care for us. And he's working on scales of atom to atmosphere. Okay, that is his job. Galaxies and whatnot. And at the same time, animate and inanimate world. And why we are saying this? Because we have life. And life, as we see and understand it. So, but really speaking, we are not understood yet anything. So we would like to know who is controlling our life. Is there some force in the world which is controlling us? Is God really a chemical engineer? Okay, if I say this, and why did I say this? Way back in 2001, or to be precise, on 14th of February, in Bhubaneswar, there was a debate, and the Chief Secretary of the state said they don't want to have any chemical and allied industry in the state. And next year onwards, Bhubaneswar will be cyberation. It was his bad luck. I was the next speaker, and I said, dear sir, wait a minute, you are wrong, got some wrong impressions. Chemical engineering is not pollution. Chemical industry is not pollution. It is abatement of pollution. So, you should think of that. And if you think that you don't need chemical industry, don't need produce of chemical industry, look at your face, from top to bottom, what you are wearing, including the watches and the specs and what it is all produce of chemical industry. So what happens at the end? You have to take leaves to hide your modesty, because if that is what you think. So, and I said, God is a chemical engineer. This is where I said God is a chemical engineer first time. And next day there was a headline in New Indian Express there. A professor from, that time it was called UD Mumbai comes and claims God is a chemical. So it became a very big news. And my students, what they did, they printed a t-shirt, God is a chemical engineer. And they started walking around. And I said, oh my God. But you are not gods. Chemical engineers are not gods. So I wanted to make them realize that God is a name of versatility and universality. And that is precisely the soul of chemical engineering. So chemical engineering is truly versatile, accommodative, and all-pervasive and inevitable. Chemical engineers have people working from scale of atom to atmosphere. They will look at atmospheric scale. They are mathematicians, physicians. Some of the Nobel laureates are also chemical engineers, and the best example of that is none other than Linus Pauling. Okay, so we can have many of those types. So to the uninitiated, I would like to define what is chemical engineering, and this is it. It is true that chemical engineers are comfortable with chemistry when they do much more with this knowledge than just make chemicals. In fact, The term chemical engineer is not even intended to describe the type of work a chemical engineer does. Instead, it is meant to reveal what makes the field different from other branches. That is the real definition of chemical engineering. And we live in the world of atoms, molecules, and molecular transformations. And our body is the best example of that. And chemical engineering starts with our body, for that matter, in the kitchen. Our mother teaches us how to do chemical engineering. She cuts in a particular way the vegetables so that the mass conservation will increase. Okay? She cooks it at a certain time so that the reaction takes place and it gives a proper smell. It is all chemical engineering. Okay? And so, let us look at this. Why God? Because at the time of war and peace, we have all sorts of destruction. And why? It is because of the following: scarcity and prosperity. War and peace is scarcity and prosperity. So here is the real interesting problem. You look at this particular chart. See, you go from here, and in the year something like 1080, the population of the world was less than 500 million. And there was a very deadly disease called bubonic plague, black plague. Many people died because they did not know what medicines to take. 67% of the Europe died. Okay, that was the truth. This is 1856. When William Perkins synthesized a dye called Mao. In fact, he wanted to synthesize quinine, and that is the birth of organic chemical industry. And since then, everything is skyrocketing. Now, we don't know what will be our population because we got the best of the medicines, best of the molecules, paints, pharmaceutical, name it. We have everything in this world. And so today's buzzwords, you look at environment, energy, nutritious and sufficient food, affordable healthcare, water, infrastructure, communication, GDP, globalization. And in all these things, very interestingly, we are taking this to connect ourselves with prosperity. And India's number today is 135. It's not a good thing, okay? Because we have many things missing. Look at our economy, social capital, personal freedom, safety and security, health, education is the topmost of this. And according to my personal belief, we must educate each and everybody. And that the ladies should be educated free in they get their PhD. It does not mean everybody becomes a PhD, but at least they will have an avenue to educate everybody else. So that is the topmost priority. And if you look at the things what we do, life processes, caring for our planet, molecular matter, energy and processing, all these things happen from megascopic to atomic scale. This is what chemical engineering is doing. You give them a system, whether it is live, animate, inanimate, they can model it and they tell you what is going to happen next. That is the reason. That is what the God is doing, isn't it? He is caring for us. So I said, why not call God as a chemical engineer? So God is literally a molecular engineer who is working day in and night. The system has to be continuous. And in chemical engineering we say, let the system be continuous, it is less hazardous. Okay, that is what we say. So this is very interesting. And if you look at the 21st century engineering challenges, these are very interesting. Fueling the world's economies, creating cleaner energy, products for growing populations, removing the harmful sulfur from fuels, then better living through chemistry, stretching material resources, large-scale mass production as well as miniature engineering, convenient and abundant food. We literally waste 35% of the food because of insects, pests and whatnot, which is again a huge colossal loss. Healing diseases and extending life, advanced health informatics, powering the personal computer, managing the nitrogen cycle, carbon footprint reduction, and restoring urban infrastructure. And this is what they talk about in the Paris Convention, reducing the temperature, or not allowing the temperature to raise by 2 degrees. Somebody said 1.7 degrees, somebody said 1.5 degrees. Remember, these are all engineering challenges. In all these challenges, they are all related to chemical and allied industry and therefore chemical engineering. So that is the beauty of this engineering challenges. You must have traveled today by this type of meets. You must have also seen these shanties. These are all abundant cell phones. Every day a new model comes in the market. The kids throw the old market model and buy something else. Parents are worried about their kids. What happens? It is because of this. This is a challenge to sustainability. Population is rising and also the longevity has increased. In the year 1900, Indian male had a lifespan of 38 years. Women 43 years, today it is 68 years and 73 years respectively. Ladies always live longer. Their genetic makeup is better than male folks. You should, clap for that. Okay, this is what I say. So growing energy needs, growing material needs, environmental degradation, and not to be outdone, we also have global warming and toxins in the environment. These are real problems which we are facing. And what do we do with this? So if you look at the world, sustainability is very, very important. Can we provide food for all these people? In the year 2055, we will be 9 billion. Somebody predicts that the population in the year 2100 will be 13 billion. Somebody said 14 billion, but I must tell you that all these conjectures will go haywire. Nobody can predict it because it is dependent on so many geopolitical things. And when we think that we have taken control of the bugs, the bacteria are smarter than us. Nobody has heard about HIV in 1984. Or for that matter, the Ebola, which was about a couple of years ago. So challenges to sustainability are resource depletion, reliable and hygienic food supply, clean water supply, and hitherto unknown diseases and epidemic conduct. And in all these things, so I am saying, all these problems can be solved by using chemical engineering, and therefore is there a beauty, charm and challenge left in chemical engineering? But many of the kids think that computer science is better, IT is better, but they forget that the computer which they are using the produce of chemical industry. We have to produce gallium arsenide at 99.59% purity, or silicon for that matter. The kind of plastics which you use, everything is produced of chemical engineering. But what we need is clean, smart, and economical green processes for health, wealth, and prosperity. So my message is very simple. You want to live long, you want to live comfortable, you want to have abundant food and nutrition, instant communication and instant gratification. Supposing you are told for next 8 days there is no cell phone, some of the kids will kill themselves because they can't live without the WhatsApp and cell phone. That is a fact. So there is no virtual world without material world. And in fact, there is a fun in heaven and reincarnation, and the next slide will tell you after some time. So chemical engineering is related to all branches of science and engineering. So that is the beauty of chemical engineering. So it is so versatile discipline. And so, in the dreams, from dawn to dusk, birth to death, there is a wonderful world of real chemicals. Okay? We have to imagine. And there is this crazy fellow which you might have seen before, and this is the guy, Michael Jackson. He believed in more in chemical engineering than perhaps we believe, because he thought he can preserve his body for next 100 years under cryogenic condition, which is again chemicals, remember, and he can take rebirth. Okay, that is what his belief. Unfortunately, his beliefs were broken, so they could not do that. But that is a fact. So reincarnation, that is another interesting. So you have heard about nanomaterials, so many things in nano and chemical engineering. Okay, you do chemical engineering on nano scale, mega scale, micro scale, everything we can produce one molecule picture out of this. Okay, and so the greatest achievements of chemical engineering, there are many: environmental protection, wonderful drugs, petrochemical, plastic, food production, atomic energy, synthetic fiber and rubber. Now we can have synthetic fiber which will be used during summer. It will make me feel cool. During winter, it will make me feel hot. At the same time, it will not give any sting because there will be something which will take care of the sting. So materials manufacturing, the public health, you name it, and environment everywhere. Chemical engineering will have a very, very big role to play, including in transport and what. Okay, and look at this alchemy to woody. In 1800 to 2100, now there is something called gene therapy. In fact, it is playing God. Okay, they are saying that the male person or female may not require male, and still you can produce some offspring. This is the beauty of this. So can you think this world without plastic? If we blame plastic, it is the user to be blamed, not plastic. Because it is available free to you, you throw it. Supposing I charge 10 rupees for this bottle and I say water is 5 rupees, you will literally steal this bottle. Because you can return it and get 10 rupees back. So this is the user is to be blamed, not the plastic material. So yes, it is a world full of plastic and you cannot live without that. Believe me, you cannot live without that. What you are using on your body is also plastics and polymers and fibers and what. A lot of colorful things. We use pigments, we use all sorts of perfumes, cosmetics, toiletries. Since morning to evening, we start with toothbrush, which is again a chemical. The toothbrush itself, look at the polymers, rubbers and tennis. You know, everything here is synthetic, including the dresses on their bodies, including the table tennis racket. And if you say that you don't need it, you imagine what will happen next. Can a modern kitchen be without produce of chemical industry? Absolutely not. So chemical engineering is kitchen engineering. Simplest definition, if you don't understand it, is kitchen engineering. Many unit operations and transport processes are at play, and mothers practice it all the time. So all mothers are chemical engineers. Okay. So take it. And of course you are tired of this earth. So chemical engineering is used in the manufacture of new types of materials, composites, lighter and tougher, durable and energy harvesting, everything. And if you are tired of, at long last, you can holiday on Mars, okay? Because you are tired, so you want to go there. That is again chemical engineering. In the field of materials, okay, we require regular materials, functional materials, we require smart materials, the materials which will smile at you, okay, shrink when you touch, whatnot. All sorts of materials are being produced, and so there will be engineering materials also. So we see that this is multifunctional material. That is, you just take one, like a silkworm. It starts with a fabric, but it starts with a monomer. That is what is the beauty of this field. So tomorrow's science is the science of dead and science of living. Interestingly, in this case, chemical engineering is one on both of us. Okay, science of death as well as science of living. And so, the grand challenge for chemical engineering will remain synthesis and manufacture of any new substance by using compact synthetic schemes and processes with high selectivity for the desired product with minimum energy consumption and benign environmental effect. That is the job of a chemical engineer, not to pollute but to protect humanity and earth. So, smart material synthesis, development of new materials, measurement you are saying, that will protect people from diseases, terrorism, accidents, crimes in part by detecting and identifying dangerous substances and organisms using methods with high sensitivity and selectivity. Selectivity engineering, understanding and controlling the reactivity of molecules, so all molecular sizes and the full range of molecules. Well, we have to generate energy by new means, store and transport. So, like we have in our institute, or myself was doing that project, is splitting water to hydrogen and oxygen. Once I have hydrogen, I can use hydrogen for electricity generation, I can use it for synthesis of ammonia, I can use it for fuel cells and whatnot. So, splitting water, environmentally benign, just when it is burnt, it is just water again. So, yes, self-optimizing systems, we get design and development of self-optimizing or there is a confluence of chemical sciences and biological sciences. The boundaries have disappeared now. So chemists must learn, biology, and biologists must learn chemistry. This is the word today. So cells obeys laws of chemistry, and chemical engineering can be applied to all biological processes. That is the beauty of it. Not only that, okay, in terms of challenges for green chemical science and engineering, we have to make processes greener, smarter, energy efficient, eco-friendly, and minimum environmental effect. So this is green chemistry and engineering, and there are 12 different principles. I would not go into that, but I must tell you that this is atom economy, catalysis, and use of renewable feedstock is the one which we are going to use henceforth. So nothing is waste, everything is well. That is the principle which is used in chemical engineering. First thing is, nature is our God. Okay, so nature has developed both templated and non-templated synthetic methods and enzymes, and therefore that will be our guide for in future manufacture. And therefore, the beauty and charm of chemistry and lessons for chemical engineering is that chemists can control the structure of matter at the molecular level, but that has to be brought into the marketplace by chemical engineering. So this is the beauty. They have to learn that thing. And nature's chemical factories, because as I mentioned to you, nature is our guru. And the living organisms tell us how to do it. So they are so nanoscopic, so far nanomaterial, we can talk about that. And now chemistry is increasingly shifting from structure to function, and chemists will have to develop better strategies to identify these new molecules which will be useful for biomedical, energy and environmental needs of the future. And this is where again the role of chemical engineering becomes very, very obvious. So chemical engineers are new avatar, bringing new technology to commercial function, technology having origins in scientific discoveries at atomic and molecular level. Chemical engineers understand molecular world and skill in integrating product design and process design, process control and optimization. You won't believe chemical engineering uses a lot of mathematics and computation. People will think they are only playing with chemicals, not true. And their skills are needed to develop genetic engineering or biotechnology as a manufacturing tool and to new molecular devices for information storage and handling. So high priorities for future chemical engineers will be biotechnology and biomedicine, electronic, photonic and recording materials, nanomaterials, and in situ process of materials. And carbon dioxide, water and light will be the new forms of raw materials to make chemicals. Beautiful. And if you take care of carbon dioxide, that means obviously the temperature of the earth will go down. So this is a beautiful opportunity for chemical engineering. Understanding the role of biosciences in better health, improved agriculture, cleaner environment and more efficient production of chemicals, and therefore this is very, very important. In fact, we have to do in situ processes of energy and mineral resources. People are talking about coal, for instance. But we can process them in situ without excavating and still reduce the environmental impact of coal-based technology. And so, chemical engineer for converting waste to wealth. Nothing is waste but wealth. It's a new paradigm. Converting into energy, chemicals or fuels, reducing environmental load. So, for smart cities, will again use chemical engineering for processing and reuse of wastewater, plastic, metal, e-waste, hospital waste, woody material, whatnot. So, this is a very interesting thing. So, chemical engineering in medical proportion also, understanding precisely the disease mechanism and may vary from person to person, understanding drug interactions, understanding human feelings, nervous system and reading diseases where no communication exists, extending life when no hope exists and going beyond trial and error for precise treatment. These are very interesting. So, as I mentioned to you, fundamental analysis of complex biological reactor. This is all engineering of human body and its continuous functioning. Future, relationship between components and the disease processes, the processes that lead to developing the disease, the symptoms of the disease, and the fundamental nature of disease itself. This is very interesting. So we need also synthetic biomaterials where chemical engineering will be used. There are functional foods, nutraceutical, designer foods like designer drugs, okay, or designer fuel. And ultimately, the human body engineering. Each and every part in a human body can be replaced by synthetic materials. Nature has designed human body to live for 150 years. If you want to live beyond that, it is possible. So we have to go on replacing the human body. Okay, many parts, and people have been already replacing hips and whatnot. So it is all possible. So future chemical engineering, I will not go into this. We'll have these type of subjects. And so name game, should we call chemical and biological engineering, life engineering, atom engineering, molecular engineering, nano engineering, universal engineering, green engineering, sustainability engineering, divine engineering, or natural engineering? We can give many names to our professions. And so in the year, death will not be a problem, life will be, because we will be living that much. So be prepared for that. Longevity, prosperity and peace will be really possible there. Ladies and gentlemen, sustainability, longevity, prosperity and peace are the impeccable contributions of chemical sciences, engineering and industry to modern society. And so, God is a chemical engineer, that was the proposition I made, but chemical engineers are not. Now, please deflect yourself, otherwise you will think that you are gods. So, God also agrees, okay, and this is what it is. You did not get the pun there. Thank you very much. So finally, your life he stopped thinking at the age of 22 after his graduation. Okay?